The question I often get is, why did I become a social worker? Well, it started when I was just a little girl, and someone impacted me greatly when I was in kindergarten, and she was a teacher that came all the way from the Philippines. She made me feel very special. She gave me a doll one year, and she impacted my heart so much because she only gave that doll to me, and she said that I was special. And I never quite understood that. And throughout the years, being born in a family of 9 children, I was the 7th born, and I always felt like I didn't want to cause any havoc to my parents or any problems because they had so many kids. And so I just continued on my life, and I tried to be the best that I could be and not stress them out, because stress is a killer, and I know that. I knew that from a very young age. So I always try to do the best that I could, although, of course, you have sibling rivalry and things like that. But as I grew older, I went on an exchange trip when I was 18 years of age. I went on the Canada World Youth Exchange, and going to India and living there for 3 months and having my counterpart come here, it was an eye-opener for not only myself, but for all the other students that came on this journey. Now, we lived in billeting homes and in a camp for half the time in both countries. So imagine living and working in another country where you don't speak their language. But I had to learn some Hindi just to get by. And living with the farmers in India, that would be equal to me because we're come from farmers as well. And also my counterpart that was with me was from a higher caste. So it was like learning was always something that I loved, and I loved traveling too. So this journey helped me to define my career as to why I wanted to become a social worker, because of the different caste systems, because of all the different things that I saw on my program of how we could do some social impacts by planting trees, by working with the women, by working in the fields, as well as community engagement was really a huge part of our ability to share our stories with the narratives in those communities through acting and also having a better understanding of life in each other's country. And it was a really great experience. I saw some of the injustices, and I saw the most beautiful things in my life of how basic needs in humans, no matter where you go, we all need to eat, sleep, and feel loved. Those are the basics. And what I found is that many people didn't have those basic needs. And even in our country here in Canada, when I came back, I went to Blue Quills First Nation School. And there we saw the true insight of what the residential schools did to many of the students, because Blue Quills First Nations was a residential school. And it had just turned over into the university at that time. And that fueled my energy to making a difference in communities, but more awareness here in Canada about making a difference in our Indigenous communities, Métis communities as well, and having a voice. And that's what I did for the last over 36 years. And I loved every minute of building communities at different capacities. Some of my greatest work was nation-to-nation building, cross-cultural family nights, creating the booklets of 99 stories of survival, resiliency, and community wellness of Indigenous people's stories, as well as working with the youth. I just loved it. And the intercultural aspect, the diversity and inclusion in the schools, looking at all the gifts that the different nations bring together and enrich our lives each and every day. some of the wisest practice that I received from this field of work is that we all have a gift to share, and community building, it's like bringing together all those perspectives and creating something beautiful out of it. For example, our food pantry, when we were going through the pandemic, so many families were going hungry, and being a vessel in between listening to all the stakeholders and all the issues that were going on, and being able to be a catalyst in change really set my heart ablaze when we were able to help thousands and thousands of families get food into their families so that they could survive and thrive during this time. So these are some of the whys, because I'd like to make a social impact. And now I want to go into your communities, virtually or in communities, and do the community building program that I've created so that they can master the tools they need in order to achieve impacts in their communities. From gardening to food security to nation building, relationship building is what it's all about, as well as the Grief Warrior program, how to heal the grief in our country, because there is so much that people are still reeling with in healing grief. So with that, please send me an email at lrwellnessworks@gmail.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you would like to have a one-to-one consultation, I'd be happy to entertain that. So DM me and let's connect, collaborate, and change the world together. Have a great day, everyone.